Recording. Oh, gotta remember the music. Hold on.
Turn up the music.
Let's read through this list of losers right here. Rodrigo Allen Richmond, Scott Blakeson, Patrick McHenry, Olufemi Adeyemi, Jimmy Bunky, Olarin Osaze, Travko Bosic, Hamilton Sharp, Obo da Hobo, Billy Joel, Arunas Urbonas, Sander Steele, Shaquille O'Sfield, Amin Al-Sada, Olander Richter, one of my elite employees, Johnny Fittipaldi. You get the idea. A bunch of losers. We are the champions. Welcome to a SBA Champion edition of 5 of the Week. Once again, after I think it's been 3 years since the previous, it's even been 4 years at this point. It's the previous edition of SBA Champion edition. This time Nepto has no stake to claim in the championship, whereas last time he sort of was partial to the success.
I'm emotional support in this championship, you know.
Yeah, but basically 60% of the league was like emotional support in this championship.
But I was here since day one. No, just kidding.
Yeah. I could swear it was Danger Goldie. Anyways, yeah, what were you going to say?
No, I was trying to think of it. It's really been 4 years since the AVHS championship.
I was trying to look for it.
I have to look that one up.
It's like
57?
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, so it's not. It's 3.5. Right.
Oh boy.
And, oh no, it's.
No, it should be pretty much the same because I remember the championship was at one of my friend's birthday who had just had his birthday 3 days ago. So
yeah, it says here
a full year would make sense.
17th of October 2001 was the release of 5 of the 27. Jokes about Brooklyn and Las Vegas Joker. Make sure to check out that episode if you're interested or not familiar with the jokes I made about Shaka. Let's come up with one real quick if I can. Shaka in my head at that loser. Yeah. But yeah, with that very cold open out of the way. Welcome everyone to 5 of the Week. This time, just in case you aren't aware, there's not going to be a TP reward for listening and reacting to anything we say. So, yeah, now that we weeded out the casuals out of the audience, welcome everyone once again. I'm here again with Nepto, of course, as you might have heard earlier, and we're going to talk about sort of just like whatever.
Like the good old times. Hello, everyone. Thank you to Oka for the nice introduction. This is going to be more of the good old 5 of the Week. One that we did last did a 5 of the Week.
I guess that's also like
2 years ago.
No, it's not like that far out because it was. I remember we talked about sports gambling, and I had just started Malone Freeman's career. So it was 1.5 years ago. Something like that. Because it's been 12 seasons now.
It's quite some time.
Yeah, it's been some time, for sure. Yeah. I figured that at this point in the off season, because this is gonna, well, it is Friday, and this is gonna come out on Friday. At least European and American time Friday. So it's so close to the start of the new season, and as free agency now and draft now happens like in the first 3 days, like past rollover. That's already 10 days ago, more or less. So thought at this point it doesn't really make much sense to do a refresher on what happened in the off season, or like try to break any sort of news for those who have been in the dark. Instead, if we are interested or have some ideas, we can look at the next season, not a preview type of thing, but just like what's going to happen next season. Can the Wolverines and the Ocelots make their ways back to the final, that sort of stuff. But then there's also like I can talk about my experiences with the regression bank, and that's going to be very interesting, of course. We can talk about this and that, but first of all, I would like to hear more about that emotional support you mentioned of the championship run there by the Vancouver Wolverines, because it's now been like a week at this point, 6 days, and there wasn't even a congratulations like before we started talking just then. So what's up with that?
I congratulated you in the thread. That's enough congratulations.
Okay, let's see.
Well, I didn't name you specifically.
The Wolverines. Well, of course, yeah. It is a congratulation. I happened to suffer from the hubris and the cult of personality around the general manager of the team. Even though I guess like 75% of the championship in a vacuum is directly attributable to me personally. That's fine. Just tag Jeff, not Rab Hag, not me, not Bert McGee. What's that guy's name? But yeah, I sort of enjoyed following the SBA playoffs because I wasn't refreshing the page all the time. Because ever past the first round where we actually played and didn't have a bye, I was sort of expecting it to be a loss until the finals, because getting past Houston and Philadelphia, that gave supreme confidence to beat the Ocelots, who I think were the worst of the three teams, unfortunately for any Ocelots fans right there. But yeah, for the listeners, for the viewers, could you describe your feelings then, if you shared any tips with Jeff how to overcome these beasts, or did you feel joy seeing a new team win a championship? Were you disappointed to see the Ironmen fall in the semifinals? What were your feelings on the SBA playoffs just then?
I mean, of course, it was only me that guided Jeff to victory. You know, without me, he never would have made it.
Right.
But jokes aside, no. So, I mean, I like Jeff as a GM ever since he stepped up as the Wolverines GM back in 46, I believe. It's a wonder that neither of my first two players made it on the Wolverines during that time, because I think they would have fit in really well. But they stayed for Major League Colorado and then OKC, which also worked out well with Magnus. And then I played for Jeff with Julian Falk Jr. For over a year, so for like 10 seasons. And we came awfully close to winning once or twice, I believe. So yeah, I'm very, not proud would be the wrong word, but I'm happy for Jeff that he finally got to take down his demons with the Ravens, and then as soon as that curse was broken, was able to go all the way for the championship and finally get that one as well. And of course, always great to see like Trap and Oko. I don't think we ever played on the same team, Oko, did we?
No.
I was about to say my old teammates, but I never played with either of you on the same team. It either was I was part of the GMing team for you in Charlotte for 10-ish seasons, and Trap always drafts me in the SBDL. That's like the major connections. No, but
feel
really
like,
happy to see the Wolverines finally winning it.
yeah, other than like whatever the fuck happened with Benjamin Sreng Wahlgren and Johannes Trindle Andersen, I feel like I haven't actually been like teammates with more than half of the league, actually. Because there's a lot of people I remember thinking, oh, it'd be sweet because we always have good players. Then by the time I was on Nano's team, I guess, but also a teammate with Nano, it was at the time, around the time we were both washed up, like Nano didn't have good players anymore at that point of time. Like 11th, 12th, 13th year Montecchia in my first or second Wolverine season, like, fuck if it really matters. Just a guy to play small forward. But also, like, yeah, a lot of people feel like I haven't actually been their teammates because I was in a holding pattern a lot of times where I had inactive teammates. Even on my first player, like in Seattle, Pandar didn't use Discord, even though, well, I had been Pandar's teammate in the NCAA previously. And then
Does he
Bren,
use Discord today?
sometimes, I guess. Yeah,
Not quite sure.
because he was back in the board of directors a couple of times by the time when it was just like all Discord. And
Not sure if he even used Discord back then.
I'm pretty sure he did. But anyways, yeah. And then a lot of times, like Bren, he wasn't really chatty, and P. Sanchez went inactive, I guess, and that sort of stuff. Like, so it didn't really matter, even from the beginning. Like, being teammates with someone, I wasn't really. Even if I was teammates with someone, I didn't actually like act as their teammate. Like, I can give them tips and suggestions if they ask, but I'm not ever posting in team Discords really, because I'm always been, due to my previous roles, I've always been about the public league Discord. And yeah, over time I was surprised to find out that there's new people who join or never join and leave, or maybe never join the main Discord, just join their team Discord and move on from there on up. That's interesting because yeah, it's more fragmented than I ever realized. And yeah, also in a way that makes me more exposed, and I chat to a lot more people that I have no affiliation, like team affiliation with. But it is interesting that the people I've talked to most and had most communication with in the SPA, I'm not sure if I've ever been teammates with them at all. Like, well, Moholt, yes. I have been teammates, but not sure about Bayo. Not sure about you.
No, I think we never played on a team. And it might be because I usually end up sticking with one team for some reason that I cannot explain to you. I mean, even now, Lopez is now getting into his 9th season in Pittsburgh, which I didn't think would happen.
Yeah, well, for a majority of time, I also did the same.
Yeah, exactly. So we just stayed on our teams.
Yeah, and if they don't cross paths like directly, then it's whatever, I guess. Because there was that stretch of time where I played like 15 or 13 seasons in a row in Charlotte. And
because we forced you to.
Yeah, and just like between my previous two players, just felt like I was waiting to be traded from Toronto to Milwaukee, or from Milwaukee to Toronto to Boston, because it was just like shit all over. Well, the Milwaukee part was nice. I had a couple of decent seasons for the player build, I imagine, but that's about it. So yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, the Charlotte was probably the closest we ever came to becoming teammates, because I know Bobby sent every GM that I played for at least
Yeah.
one trade offer.
Yeah.
If not multiple.
And also, like, something I just realized is that if you were a premium high TP player during the season 50s, season 60s, then you sometimes couldn't even fit two of them together on a team anyway. So what can you do? And yeah, there was also like upon a time, because it was always where people only played 9 seasons ever. They didn't play 8, they didn't play 10 or more.
I think a
played
lot still played 8 because it was like, okay, I don't want to regress at all.
yeah, but that was, I feel like at a certain point, I guess after like 9th year, player of the year or positional awards became a thing at some point, then it became more in vogue to play a 9th year too, because maybe you have an edge over the competition. But then if you only ever play 8 seasons and all your friends only play 8 or 9 seasons, then you're always stuck in the same sort of time loop where you're always 5 seasons behind them or 6 seasons in front of them, you know?
Yeah.
So for a longest time, because Bayo had joined like 5 seasons or was drafted 5 seasons before my player, for example, and then MG was drafted 5 seasons after my player. But it was highly more likely that MG's and Bayo's player timelines would fit together compared to mine and theirs. Of course, as it so happened, I ended up playing with MG when I sort of went all in to draft him to my own team, but it is what it is.
Sometimes you gotta help out. I mean, Tomato and I also only managed to play together on OKC when he became the GM, and then he picked his own player with like when still the GM player rules were a thing.
Yeah.
So that's the only time we mentioned. I mean, this time around we both are in the same draft class, but we decided for a reason to play the same position, just as a fun gimmick. So we're not going to team up in that regards as well.
Yeah. But it's even if you first think it's like yeah, whatever, I'll get it next career or that sort of thing. Now it's already been like 6 years nearly. And some of those people I have never played with. And like, well, I played with Haz, and Haz always was a good teammate in like every sense of the word for a sim league such as SPA. But maybe Haz is also like one of the only people I've been with, like been teammates with in 3 teams, maybe the only one. And even then, over like fucking 10 players or whatever I had at this point.
I know you guys were teammates in Milwaukee and in Charlotte back with
and also like
Freedom and Washburn.
Yeah, Duke in college, like in my first team.
When he was
it was Max Winchester's like last season in
the famous Max Winchester Cup season, where soon after the TP was removed from before the draft, like the carryover TP.
Yeah, I didn't even recognize at the time that it made really a difference, because like if you have a filler winning Defensive Player of the Year and Positional Award in the NCAA, does it really matter?
Crazy.
Like, of course, Shaka also used the player as not a filler because he didn't have a pro player. He just used Sheikh Bamba as 199 DB player for 4 seasons, but basically a filler.
Yeah, basically a year-free filler in the system.
So maybe the competition was really not all it was made out to be. Like, right soon after that, like after the Winchester Uncap season, the developmental league for like 15 seasons turned upside down, where it was like crazy every year, and there was crazy loads of talent and new people. But in that specific season, I think the gripe was with just because Duke ended up winning the national championship, of course, and then also like, yeah, don't see a lot of people making jokes or fun about the Oregon Ducks, where they had like plus 70 TP on one or two other players because of a re-rolling quote-unquote accident, and they ended up being like 11th seed in the tournament and winning the championship, national championship, just because they had extra TP or whatever it was, that sort of stuff. Live news for listeners. There was actually sort of a good question we could come by later. Hear your thoughts on the remaining free agents and where they all go, because we also sort of have like a touching point with these free agents, because we've been doing a lot of the draft shows. So every player of these, basically every player of these, maybe other than Theodore Walker, have been drafted in a draft we presented. So that's a good idea in a way.
Yeah.
But I also had a slightly better idea. It's actually not better. It's just...
Your idea sucks, Fonzie. We won't be doing it.
Was it Fonzie? Oh, I didn't know who ineligible to play shooting guard was, but yeah. Definitely, if it was Fonzie's idea, it sucks automatically. Just off the rip, it sucks. Congratulations to Jeff also for 4.5 years of experience managing a SPF franchise. I
hope
more...
you put it on your LinkedIn, Jeff. I mean, that's important. You showed managerial capabilities. You learned a lot.
Can you be certain? Like,
I mean, at least he was resilient, right? He stuck to losing and to the same people for 4.5 years.
Yeah, but then you could just put on your LinkedIn that you're training to run a marathon, because that also takes resilience, sort of thing. But yeah, I had a more interesting question directly to you. If you could, what's your favorite currently? What's your favorite branding in the SPA? Like, if you were put in charge of just pick a team you want to be a GM of, and there's a fantasy draft, which one would you select? Would you select something that you have experience or affiliation with previous, or would you select? Do you have a favorite?
Okay, so my top 3, let's say, brandings are on one's the Miami Vice, because obviously
that's resilience. Like after 5 years, after 5 years, still a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah, then the Wolverines, I think, is also a great branding. Because I also love these old Vancouver Grizzlies colors, and they are a lot alike, and I still think it's a great branding. And for number 3, as a joke answer, I could say the Colorado Chiefs, because it was the worst one, and also not a good team at the time.
Was Colorado the team you got drafted into?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was for me as well, but I just remembered it now. I didn't
but it's not a good design, so I think I would take the bullet.
The colors are very nice.
Work of art.
I think the Colorado Chiefs logo is underrated. Like, it's...
Yeah, but
people say it's bad, like fully on bad, but I think it's like fine. And the colors are like the super crimson and the super black and the yellow beak in the, I guess it's a mask or headdress. The yellow beak is very, very like stylish in a way, but I wouldn't say it's the best. I just think it's underrated based on how I hear you and other people sometimes talk about it.
So we have to do a tier list at some point.
Yeah, I guess, why not?
Okay, but what would be your branding that you would choose?
Well, I guess if you hold on to the franchise history, it's just a fantasy draft. I would just take Houston, because colors are nice. the bird is sort of minimal, but also like iconic in relation to the SBA these days. And then if you can have like whatever it is, 26 championships with you, maybe even more. I don't fucking remember. But yeah, that's automatically an easy answer for me.
If we disregard team history,
if there is no team history at all, then Brooklyn.
I think we nerded out over the Brooklyn logo at some point.
Even just the previous 2 times we were talking about this, it was, and yeah, also like New York. I sort of have like this sort of what's it called?
A soft spot for the New York logo.
Yeah, but not this one. The Los Angeles one. The Moses McAdoo.
Yeah, the blue one.
Because when I joined, they were in Los Angeles, the Blue Train. And then I was like getting into it, and I was really immersed because has made these sort of quotes and media spots, whatever, about the relocation program. I even wrote about it in my season, whatever it was, 38 part in the 80 years of SBA, I think. But it was really nice, so I sort of got into the new New York or the old New York, go New York thing at the time. But now I sort of remember the Moses McAdoo, because every time I go to look at Cuatro Noguera or Moses McAdoo stat pages, it's always in the Los Angeles blue, and you don't have the same blue for any other team ever. So it's unique in a way. So it definitely has
also nice blue, let's be honest.
It is very nice. I think whoever said that, like, I don't know if it was Emides, who is of course a New York Rail OG, or who else it was at the time when I brought this up the previous time in public. But yeah, the Los Angeles Rail would be nice. But Brooklyn, it's just so simple, but also very complex, very professional, highly detailed. Then it's between Los Angeles Rail or... It's very difficult in the vacuum to tie yourself off of the context, because I would think Corsairs are very fun. And the ship logo is really fun. But
you're really taking now the dip out of if the franchise history doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's really hard to divorce from the idea that the franchise history doesn't matter at all, because I can't ever think about the Corsairs and think about them being basically a failure for 6 years. So yeah, I also think that's my 2. I don't have a third one. Chicago would be one, but it's also like, I think if I didn't know anything about the club history, I wouldn't care about Chicago at all. It's fairly simple.
Yeah,
really.
Like, I miss the Evans Chicago.
Teams, Only good thing I ever. I think I made Chicago better when I made the index pages have the green headers.
Oh yeah.
Because if anyone's interested in this, let's see what the season was. Just go back to, for example, season 38 of SBA history. sbahistory.com/SBA/season 38, where the headers were all different, because the texts in the titles were all, I think it's a default gray. Oh, actually, Nightmare used to also have a... Never mind. The green was the same previously. I just made the text white, so it looks extra, like it pops out extra. Anyways, if you want to see some really bad indexes, go to season 38 and look for Brooklyn Bullets. You have gray on black text everywhere. And basically every other team just made worse because the highlighted text is dark gray instead of white. But yeah, the Chicago logo itself is meh, but then the green tint.
I like it more than the old ones, which then became the old logo and then they contracted.
Oh, the logo of the SBDL team.
Yeah.
Kansas Jayhawks, whatever they became.
Oshawa Owls.
Oh yeah, but then yeah, it wasn't super bad, but it was like very
It wasn't super
1990s.
bad, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, it
looks
was
like
1990s. Like, if you know NHL Hits, do you know the PlayStation 2 game?
No.
Yeah, from like 2020.
You're losing me with hockey. I'm not from.
Yeah, but still, like, they sell the games worldwide for sure. I'm sorry for not being in Germany in 2004 to buy PlayStation 2
why
games.
were you not? Come on.
I think was Finland in the EU even then? I don't know if I had a passport when I was like 7. Well, I'm sure I had because we went to family holidays. Anyways, yeah. But still, like, well, I can use this example: Pro Evolution Soccer 4. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go to create a club, and there's the default logos.
Yeah.
That's the Oshawa Owls one. Yeah, that sort of thing. Like,
okay.
Create a club default one. Or if you go to Football Manager, like online these days, I haven't ever used it even in my fucking 26,000 hours of playing, so I wouldn't know.
Why would you play it online if playing offline is just more fun?
There was a time I played with actually MG and then another friend of mine. I have played it online, but the Create a Club thing, the fantasy draft, and the full online experience came after that. Because that was like a pandemic thing, I think, when they maxed out super online stuff. But yeah, now there's actually like sort of good questions in the chat, so we can actually go there if you'd like. You would be familiar. Sure, you would be familiar with some of these. So let's start with biggest bomb in all of SBA history and why. There's no way any of us knows this because we weren't here in season 9. But please.
I mean, someone from the 082 team has to be on it.
I'm actually not so sure. You could have a bigger bomb.
Yeah, so I mean, bomb is very hard to define because of course there's like a 300 TPE player who just has jump shot or something like this and just
guy like me.
But he never touched the floor.
Yeah.
In any significant way.
Una momento, anyone? Bomb? Super bomb? Overrated? Maybe not so a bomb.
Una wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I think if I would have to nominate someone, then my top 2 would probably be, so from relevant players, let's say, probably Sky Terry, the most terrible player if you wanted to win. Because he played no defense, he chucked up every shot that he got. I mean, he made threes, but not in an efficiency that you would need it in the SBA world. So for the majority of his career, Sky Terry probably would be a good shout. Or I don't think he was that bad. Just that the player type didn't make sense at the time, and that's the Stockton guy. I think he gets more ridicule than he deserves, but...
Yeah, because like I think with Sky Terry, it's like where you have the stack overflow. You are so much of a bum that it rolls back to 0, and that makes you legendary. So now you're not a bum anymore. It's like Ben Simmons, basically at this point. Well, actually, a lot of people hold different ideas about Ben Simmons in real life, but still, like I think Ben Simmons is a bum in a way, but he's a very sympathetic bum. If you get what I'm saying. There's probably a better example. Yeah, like Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum is a better example. He was a super bum, but then also he sort of helped winning.
But he was also kind of good for a while.
Yeah, well...
Not all-star, but he was decent.
Alright. James Michael McAdoo. He's
Yeah,
just a
okay.
bum,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll over.
All
But
right. Oh no, never mind. I stopped amplifying for someone else. Never mind.
yeah, and then Kevon Looney used to be a big bum, but now it's also rolled over. That he was such a
Or
bum
how?
that the Golden State Warriors just started like sort of using him to his talents, and then of course because he had sort of a talent, they could use him, and now he's no longer a bum, unless he has to have another shoulder and hip surgery. Then that's different. But you know, Sky Terry, like I can't come up with a perfect like comparison, but Sky Terry the bum meter overheated, then there's overflow, and it went back to 0 bum. But who was your other suggestion for biggest bum?
Yeah, Sean Stockton. Just
Oh
because.
yeah, that was gonna be mine. Just
But he wasn't that
automatically.
bad, you know. I feel like he gets more hate than he deserves because the play type in theory isn't that bad. You don't shoot. Yeah, you pass a lot. It's a lot of wasted TPE.
Why do
Yes,
you
but
have
you have some
75
stealing. You have some
inside?
passing.
Why would you have 75 inside if you don't want to shoot?
Yeah.
That's the bum part.
But look at half of our point guards today. I mean, they're the same fucking thing.
Yeah, but then also like Stockton was the main reason holding Montreal back for like 3 postseasons. Like if they had Tyvo's player, like Tyrone Kings, which they ended up having, I think, in like year 9.
Yeah,
or
they
year
had him
10.
for some.
So if they had just had Tyvo's player, Tyrone Kings, instead of Sean Stockton, I think Montreal Monarchs would have been the first expansion team to win a fucking championship. But yeah, that was gonna be my number 1 nomination because you have a decent player doing decent stuff, but then you also like force your player to do stuff shitty on the side. Like, yeah, you're the best playmaker in the entire league, but then also, how about you shoot 36% from the field 10 times a game? Like, why have that factor in? Just don't shoot, just stand fucking chest
I think
to
this
the crowd.
conversation can apply for a lot of point guards in the league right now. Stop building inside for playmakers, please.
Can I have an example? Because I need to do a little judgment if board class or the board group of point guards is the reason I got gifted the SBA championship.
I mean, you can look at Dennis Chamberlain, you can look at Scotty Russell, you can look at...
I think there's like some sort of purpose behind it though, with those players. Because I'm sure
yeah,
Mohawk
maybe,
would...
but it still sucks for winning time. You know, that's the reason why
Isn't one of them your teammate? Or was one of them? No, yeah, no, never mind. Not anymore.
Yeah, one of the guys played in Pittsburgh, I believe, with Lopez. But, I mean, you can't go through that list. It extends to half of the point guards in this league, I feel like. Why would you put inside on a player where you have no intention to give him any athletics, to make him an actual efficient shooter, and now you just waste the TPE and are wasting shots each game instead of the people that actually can shoot? That's what Houston is doing, and it's okay. This offseason it didn't work, but it gets them wins quite a lot. It's not that hard. It doesn't just stick with point guards. Say the same for shooting guards, small forwards, because I think one of the questions also was, hey, here, what is the best route for the future of SBA guards and forwards? If you want to be a stat sheet shuffer for triple doubles and such, stop wasting the shots of the players who can actually make shots. It's that simple.
Just so every listener is familiar, before I started recording, Nepta was in agreement that it's very boring to have every team have similar player types, and where you funnel shots into the main guy.
Boring.
But then also here in public, stop making suboptimal players, fucking idiots. Bank your TP, and then at one blast put in 290 TP to make your player a normal offensive player.
No, that's not the point, but I see too many players I mean, I could probably pull up a bunch of very concrete examples who don't know how to spend their TPE to make their plays optimal. If you want to score, that's fine, but there are ways to make that work efficiently without sinking your team. You know? That's my whole thing.
It says
I'm
here,
a full fan of having people who shoot, or not just funneling in every fucking team. But if you do so, then please be smart about it. Don't be bad.
yeah,
Especially if you like be a fifth player or something. You should have
Yeah.
figured this out by now.
the fundamental difference is that I'm all for people making players that they want. End of.
Yeah, of course.
But
But
yeah,
I mean, you know
for
what
Dennis
my difference
Chamberlain,
is? At least my impression is, for Mo, I won't tell, because I know Mo knows what he's doing, and it's probably what he wants to do, so completely fine.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is when people are like, I want to be like this all-around great player who plays winning basketball and plays for a championship. And then I look at their player page, I'm like, yeah, but this is not how a winning player looks like.
Yeah, I'm not sure where
I
people
like having
get.
players with clearly defined strengths and weaknesses. They all have their gimmicks. Like, for example, Julian Falk Jr., would he have been better if I would have added blocking? Oh, fuck yes, 100%. He would be more optimal that way. Did I do it? No, because I didn't want to do it. That's not the player type I was going for. And it's fine. But if your actions don't match up with, or your words don't match up with your actions on player spending, I think, like, do something.
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily want to get any further into this because it's gonna be about topics we talk about like basically every time we record.
Yeah, true.
But still, if you want to make a player that's like that this is not in relation to Dennis Chamberlain, who is alright in my opinion, or Scotty Russell, who is not so alright in my opinion.
Are you not basically the same player?
No, because like
not anymore.
No, because Scotty Russell is like the shits. And
Scotty Russell doesn't shoot threes. Okay, and Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then Chamberlain. Because Chamberlain had a good like building blocks in year 2-3, but then also like because it took time to get.
Chamberlain looked pretty good by now.
Yeah, because it took time to get the athletics up. Because if you want to start with high defense, you need to start with low offense, of course. And then if you want to start with high passing and high defense, you need to start with super shit offense. But yeah, that's different. But for players that are like first year, second year on a bad team, I think if you're sort of new and listening to this, don't take it too hard that you need to optimize your player immediately. Because you need to optimize your player to what you want to have in the future and currently and within your team situation. Because like if your team is the last season's Los Angeles Rush, doesn't really matter whatsoever what sort of player you are right now, just as long as you are that player that helps winning when it's time to win, you know. You can, in that time when it's not time to win necessarily, mold your player towards what you want to become or to reach certain statistical thresholds in the season currently.
Can I add one disclaimer to that statement?
I think. Let's see.
Just make sure you don't do something that will block you from the future from being a winning player.
Well, yeah, of course, because that's
the only thing. I mean,
of
course, you have all the freedom to chase what you want in there. But if you want to win later on, just double check with the coach what's something that I should absolutely not.
And double check with other people too.
Yeah.
Because what's the easiest way to find out how to become the player you want to become? Just look at an example player currently in the SBA and message them, or I guess someone close to them.
SBA players.
Whatever. Yeah. Because your coach might have an oversized idea of how much they know about this and that. Or your coach might just be like, well, you just copy the build and then coach doesn't necessarily recognize the team situation or the order of operation, that sort of stuff. So what's easiest, like when I started in the SBA, I just asked Evans, how can I make a player that's sort of as good as Giovanni Owen, Alan Tatum? And he was like, yeah, you do this and that, and what's important in this. And I'm like, sweet. Well, I have, for whatever reason, offensive rebounding capped at 80. But anyways, I'll deal with it. And quickness capped at 80. But maybe Goat also had quickness capped at 80. I think that's an underrated thing as well, having quickness capped at 80.
Or just, I don't know how many hours I spent looking at players' builds for Magnus to like, okay, what do I want him to do? What do I need from him to do that? And I don't know how many different plans and test files I had at some point, just to know what I want.
But did you feel like 99 quickness was a must-have?
99 quickness?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if you want, you can be the best defensive player in the league if you don't have 99 quickness. It just sort of depends on your position and team strategy.
I think 99 quickness is not as important. It's purely speaking from a stock perspective. 99 quickness is not as important as keeping strength and jumping down if you want high stocks. At least in comparison, because I've looked at this a ton with like Remus the last couple of seasons because I wanted to understand why does he suck so much at blocking shots with 7'3" and 95 blocking. Yeah, it's his jumping and strength that fucks things up.
Yeah, it's really difficult to bring up examples from the past because like during the McCoy days and when I had my first player, I had 99 strength, 99 jumping, 80 quickness, and I had 3.4 steals per game and 3.9 blocks per game as a center. So it's like that was
Didn't you also have like some 5 block season?
Yeah, but that was later. That was when I was in Philadelphia with just.
But I mean, even then, that's not something you can get at this time anymore. At least it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I guess. I haven't, like, I trust your word on you weren't able to achieve it. And when I tried it out for a little bit, I wasn't able to achieve it in the environment, but I'm sure must be some sort of way to get by. But maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe
but not with 99 strength and jumping. So that's my point. So you have to have some things aligned for it to happen.
Yeah, maybe it was
you can
just
take the old Paralysis team into this SBA probably and try it out.
I think what's the possession count in season 45? Because that also makes a lot of difference just in blocks, because pace,
let's see,
is like average of 114.7.
So and 110, 107. Oh, that's a lot of pace.
Yeah, and in this season's SBA, there's nearly 3 possessions less per game than in 45. So
yeah,
that's also like a difference of could be a difference of like 0.4 blocks per game for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in a counting statistic, just like that's like a what's the word? That keeps on rising from 0, 1, 2, 3.
Cumulative.
Cumulative? No, that can't be the correct pronunciation. Cumulative. Kumulatiivinen. Yeah, it's kumulatiiviset. Yeah.
We just make up our pronunciations. We can always say we're not native speakers. You know?
Yeah, it's a third language for me, so fuck you. So.
What's the second one? Sami?
Swedish.
Swedish?
Blyat. Well, Blyat is Russian, but you know.
Yeah, Blyat is Russian, but okay. So you sort of fit some Swedish. You're that far in your relations now.
What?
I thought there was some kind of rivalry between Swedish and.
No, but because I'm from Swedish-speaking heritage.
Ah.
Because you also have those sort of people in Finland, you know. So I learned,
those sort of people.
yeah, I learned Swedish before I learned English. Is the point. So that makes English my third language, even though I speak
Yeah, makes sense.
English better than Swedish at this point of time. But yeah, that's in a cumulative, accumulating.
It's like one of those words where every time you say it again, it feels more wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the chat. Pronounce cumulative. No, it must be cumulative. Cum. Yeah. So with all the cumulative statistics, so always remember the environment that you are participating in. It might be that the games have like over the course of a season, let's say it was 2.6, so 82 times 2.6. Game had 195 more possessions, or the season had 195 more possessions. So if you block a shot every 20 possessions, you're missing out at least like 9.5 blocks over the season. So yeah, that's something to always take into consideration. But yeah, there's also a I think I got it, so let's type out the message. Never mind. Yeah. Biggest bomb. That's settled. Thank you everyone for your suggestions. Make sure to comment if you're listening with your biggest bomb suggestions. We are of somewhat of a hive mind here with the SPA veterans, so a lot of people might just be like, yeah, Stockton is the biggest bomb. But GLU is asking most likely to return to finals, Mexico or Vancouver, which I also sort of posited earlier. Just yes or no, or I mean one or the other. Who do you think is better?
Probably Mexico.
I also think it's probably Mexico. I haven't necessarily looked at the full off-season moves, how teams compare in the full landscape of the league, but like with Wadlow's progression,
I don't think the Ocelots also changed a lot. They're just like a growing team with a lot of defense.
Yeah. I think for the foreseeable future, the Ocelots will remain overrated. But if they end up being the best team in the SPA next season, then of course they're not so overrated anymore. But yeah, I don't really like their players at all. Like I like Hernandez the most. And then
yeah, but here comes my gripe again. My little true shooting percent.
is she one of those as well to you?
Yeah, I don't know why exactly. It's not like the build is bad necessarily, but 61%.
Yeah, I guess like if you're gone down over the course of your career, then you're sort of wasting your time, isn't it? Because your true shooting percentage is meant to go up over the course of your career, not down.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest right field at 61%. I feel like that could be better. Fuck the 6.0 turnovers. Who the fuck cares? But yeah. As soon as she got that under control, I think that's going to be a couple of point guard of the years. Also with the competition not looking that hot.
Yeah. Are you surprised that there's no more steals for Hernandez? Because there's usually really. Some players, especially last few seasons, there's been a lot of steals. You'd know.
Yeah, but it's like, I think for steals there is especially a point of diminishing returns. And there's a lot of steals going around on Mexico.
Right.
And also,
you mean like there's a certain cap of like steals you could have as a team. Like you can't have 50% steal percentage as a team. You can't just have like 17 and that's spread out over the players on the team or on the court. That's what you mean.
There's a soft cap, I think, where you have a logistical curve that kicks in at some point where like, hey, you can push that higher so it gets distributed out more across the people that are there. Something like this.
I don't really like it because if you've been an avid watcher of the SBA playoffs over the course of time when I've been presenting those, the game forces a lot of turnovers, but the game can't force live ball turnovers, because that, I guess, takes a lot more calculating. And like if you have a live ball turnover instead of an illegal screen turnover, or just like throws the pass into the stands.
Force the ball into the stands.
Yeah. So that's then you also need to count if you want the team with the possession after the turnover to fail in scoring and return to 0, or like return to status quo. Then you also need to count the fact that you need to force someone to take a field goal that misses or be fouled, and you need to allocate that foul to a player. You need to be fouled and then miss 2 or more free throws. I guess that's the way of the game to like sort of balance things out. That even though the turnover is a result of ball pressure, like in a full court press or full court trap, I guess is the word, and then you have 4 players with 99 perimeter defense, 99 quickness, 99 fouling, and then you have 1 player with 90 quickness, 90 fouling, 90 perimeter defense. But still, what's forced is a dead ball turnover. I guess that's just way of the game, like balancing itself out, so it doesn't need to calculate the live ball turnover results, I guess. Which is pretty sad. I really like those never-ending turnover ping pong fiestas in the playoffs. Cumulative. Yeah, that's it. Cumulative. Cumulative. Tiv. Yes. Anyways, the more of the question was about most likely to return to finals. So what's preventing Vancouver from returning to the finals rather than Mexico City, in your opinion?
On one hand, losing one player to regression, or not losing, but having one player weak for regression, and then losing Walker still was a pretty big part, who regresses to bum status, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at him yet, but it feels like he must be approaching that age. So it feels like there's some piece missing to be as good, and even then, I mean, all credits to you guys, but it's not like Vancouver was expected to be a title favorite.
Vancouver also did lose starting point guard, so they lost.
Oh yeah, that's also. Where did he go? I mean, it's a shame that he went inactive, but
he's on a team, but I don't know which team.
Rail. Okay.
Right. Purgatory. But yeah, because yeah. Anyways, you can continue on about what you thought about the Wolverines, or if you're finished, then we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think there's just some talent missing. I'm not sure if you can get that talent out of free agency anymore.
Yeah, there is a slight chance that what's the word? Consolidating is a good option in a way, but you lose a lot of playmaker because Dunbar McLeod is still was a normal point guard sort of player.
Yeah, he was serviceable.
Yeah,
that's all you need in this cap era.
Yeah, so you lose a lot of even without Walker, and just having even 2 fucking fillers or rookies instead of Walker and McLeod. McLeod is the big problem because you lose a normal point guard. Maybe.
Yeah.
We do have a rookie player. Can't remember his name, unfortunately.
I blame Jeff being on a bachelor's party again and unable to resign his guy or something.
Yeah, it was Macho Man, but I don't remember the player's name. But yeah, it is. It remains to be seen if it is that. Because consolidating, if you lost Wadlow and Walker, but you kept McLeod, it would be possibly better.
I think Wadlow
Like Wadlow is
absolutely
great.
fucking great.
Yeah.
But you have so many center-only players available.
Yeah.
Currently in the league.
Yeah, and even
I don't think it would be that hard to replace him with someone serviceable.
Yeah, and even Ito can play center already on the team. So yeah, in that
Yeah,
sense.
but I think power forward is the more pressing need than center. There's really a lot of center-only players, which limits you from getting new guys in now, but also makes it easier to replace if you need to.
All right. Early favorites for Rookie of the Year. This is one I have no idea of, because now that we're not doing the draft show, I actually don't know any of the players who were drafted. So this is a good time for me to learn. So let's go and see.
I know some, and I'm not fans of them.
I know Clyde Cannon, the second, and Traffic Cone were drafted to the Rush.
Oh yeah, ACP is back.
Yeah, because I'm their teammates. But other than that, I have no idea about the other. Oh well, yeah, Schwein's player Royce Downlower or Downloader or Dealer. Oh yeah, Dealer was the joke I made in the graphic I also made. But yeah, D-Pow Oliver Young sounds like it's a DD of Ice player. Oh, it is not. Big Thunder. Sweet. Also has Gorju Jiang in his picture with a white background, so this is my favorite player already. But yeah, I would guess Traffic Cone just because of the very funny high steals and blocks numbers is going to be a front runner. I would like Royce Dealer to be good, but Royce Dealer is going to have his work cut out for him. Because the build is just like more focused on year 3, year 4. Julia Winger is also like sort of good, but point guards are not very popular, so automatically.
No, and also a lot of TP and passing. Not a bad thing, but it limits
it's 239 or whatever TP in the passing, so you're automatically like. So
Cannon has no defense, so he's
Cannon is not a. Cannon is also like year 5, year 6 sort of goal player, I think.
Maybe Lucas Henrik, if he gets playing time on the Prowlers. I don't know. Does he? It doesn't look like it. Okay.
I don't think there's ever playing time on the Prowlers.
On the Prowlers.
Even Bert Macklin waited 3 years to become fucking Tim Duncan. And like in the end, or waited 2 years, I guess, because this is 3rd year. But in the end, all was good for Bert Macklin, but still, I would be sort of kind of pissed off that...
Yeah, I would be gone.
I have the best player in the class and I'm getting 10 minutes a game, not even playing in all 82 games, so fuck you. I'm gonna go to Toronto.
He asked me for Remus if I would be willing to come off the bench in like year 1 and possibly year 2 because they had, I think, Young or something like this in front of me. So some Socrates center-only player. And I was like, fuck no.
Yeah,
maybe I can stomach. If it's 2 years, then you're losing me.
If any general manager is listening right now, make sure to hit up Fonzie GG. My player, Malone Freeman, will be available for trade. Just because, like, I don't know. It's not tampering because it's player to league, not certain GM. But yeah, Fonzie will be happy to receive a first rounder that will convey to a filler in the future. Unless I am in the starting lineup all season, then it's fucked because Fonzie has a real bad team on his hands. But anyway, moving on to an idea I had almost an hour ago at this point. I've been simming SBA for a long while. And I've been simming it like buttoned up, straightforward press, advance to next day in the playoff series. There's very rarely any upsets. How did the Vancouver Wolverines win the SBA championship?
Because you obviously stopped rigging it for the Ravens.
Just some food for thought. Usually, when you press advance to next day, the best team wins. Houston Ravens were the best team, followed by the Pittsburgh Ironmen and then the Mexico City Ocelots, in my opinion. How come none of those idiots won the championship, huh? Really makes you think. Keep that in mind with this new simming regimen we have. No, I'm not gonna go back. I have no interest in becoming a simmer again, but still, just some food for thought. If I ever win another championship when I'm not a simmer myself, it would have to be of some orchestration, or then there's some rigging involved. Just saying. Surprise team that could make a deep run this season. Are you still interested in keeping this going, Nepto, or do you have somewhere to go? Yeah, sure. Just making sure that I'm not wasting your time.
Oh, no worries.
Right, so surprise team. I have a couple in mind.
Okay, then you go first, then I go second.
All right. Well, Vancouver would be the one I have in mind, of course, because it's not that much of a surprise, but that because we couched it with the previous conversation about most likely to return to the finals.
Yeah.
It could be nice. Then Miami. Miami have, because they have just like 5 good players.
Okay, that's a surprise team for sure because I don't see it happening. Yeah.
I don't see it happening either, but still, like that's deep run. If Miami make it to the semifinals, I think that's a super successful season.
That's a successful season for them.
And very surprising, yeah. Outside ideas I had were Philadelphia, but they're not such a surprise team. And what's it called? The fucking Brooklyn. But they're not also like, I don't know. Maybe they are in too deep with just having these players, and they need like 2 more seasons of time, other than Sharp, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so my team probably would be Boston, because I have been very outspoken about Boston not being that good the last couple of seasons, when people were like, "Hey, they are really good."
They're reaching their limit now, though, so they have a high chance or better chances.
Yeah, I think they now have a good team this season.
Yeah,
to be honest, they have Sharp, they have Boogeyman down low, which is great defense. You have 2 passing point guard, small forwards, low cap sort of moves, which fits this era. And then you have Brando, who finally isn't playing power forward anymore because he was fucking terrible at it in comparison to being a shooting guard. So I think this makes Boston way better team than they were the last 5 seasons or so.
Yeah. I would I was considering Boston, but also even though Brando is set out to be the best player in the league this season, or second best maybe, I just like whatever. Like Boston, I spit on them.
Boston is going to suck anyways.
Yeah. They always suck. GLU always sucks. Fucking, I don't like Boston. Thank you very much. Moving on. Which top team will fall off the most? Would you consider...
Oh, I have an easy answer.
Right, well, get on with it. Pittsburgh, Vancouver.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh would be it for me as well.
Because losing Bozo hurts like a truck.
It's not very easy to... Because at this time, I don't think Pittsburgh even have a starting power forward. Even at this time. Like, it's 4 days until start of season. So that's a pretty big, interesting turn of events for a team that ended up being nearly the first seed in all of the league. Or were the first seed.
They were the first seed, actually.
Yeah, so... of course, there's extenuating circumstances around the Pittsburgh Ironman team, but right now it's very easy to say they are set for a drop-off. Do you have anything else? Other teams in the second round of the playoffs? Ravens, Wolverines, Rampage.
I mean, Ravens are going to be the Ravens. I don't think there's much.
Thunderbirds are maybe the other one, but I'm not sure if they're gonna drop off. They'll just be similarly poised, maybe worse, but actually, let's see the last season's roster. There's no Yasuoka, there's no Abenduct. Yeah, there's no Iwakiri even maybe. But yeah, they'll be in the shitter, I think. Unfortunately. Yeah. Then there was the question about thoughts on the remaining free agents and where they all go. You alluded to previously that you have your pick of center-only players if you need to choose from.
Yeah.
But like there's like a starting lineup in free agency. Maybe not for the best possible team. But if you have Iwakiri,
starting lineup.
Licht, Walker, Bosic, Obalambo, or like Zikov, Sahel Kurir. Actually, Sahel is inactive apparently. So there is some interest. I wouldn't sign Zdravko Bosic. I would sign DJ Obalambo, even though AW is not that into SBA at the moment. Already wanted to take a break before creating Obalambo, so
yeah, but he's still a good defensive player.
Yeah, he's just a better version of when he was drafted, and even at the time of the draft, I was considering him to have like Hall of Fame potential, if you remember. So
yeah.
Who asked this question? Let's make sure we shout them out if they want. Oh, it was just Fonzie. Fuck you.
It was just Fonzie. Fuck you, Fonzie.
Yeah. So Iwakiri is probably the most notable of these.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Iwakiri because as a fellow undersized Japanese guard on their first player, I know it's tough out there. I hope he gets on a good team.
Yeah, and Iwakiri also had the pleasure of being the best player for a long time on a really bad team. So that automatically grows your reputation.
Oh yeah,
quite a bit. So that's like there's tons and tons of players in the same mold who've been in the same situation. Like when I joined the SBA, it was Symmetrics Roman Kingsbury with the San Diego Clippers. He was the only good player on the Clippers for like 6 or 3 seasons after the Athrin Hakim Versace retirement. And then 2 more seasons, he was just like, yeah, I guess I'm at 1400 TP, but my teammates are all fillers and inactive. So yeah, I guess. And then he was in the expansion draft to the Las Vegas Jokers. And I think Las Vegas made the playoffs. Maybe not. Maybe they challenged for the playoffs. But regardless, like it was too late because he was already
at least a competitive season, that's already.
Well, yeah, different kind of competitive because by himself he brought San Diego to be like sort of competitive. But if you're the only good player, it doesn't feel the same as is in the Las Vegas team. He played with Conal McLeod and the rookie players. So it was, and James Knight actually. So there's a lot of players like that over the course of time. Like in a way you have Johannes Trindle Andersson also winning the MVP trophy on, 43-win team. Lost in the first round. Abui, very fun. And Othello Hawkins, in a way. Actually, Morgrim Shadow Shield, in a way, before Elena. Or no, not Elena, the other Weatherspoon. Diana Weatherspoon?
Maya.
Oh, Maya, yeah. I was just thinking of WNBA players' first names. But yeah, Diana is also a trap hack player, right? Is it? Diana? Because for Diana Taurasi, of course. I'm sure there's a Diana. Let's see, Diana.
Where are traps players? There she is. Pierre, Robert, Sean, Elena, Olympia, Maya, Diego. No Diana.
No Diana. Interesting. What was the second to last one?
Maya?
Oh, Maya.
Maya, Olympia, and Elena are 3 girls.
Oh, Olympia was what I was thinking about, the current player, right? But yeah, those are the players. They always have that aura to them, where their reputation exceeds them because they're best in their class or best in their position, best on their team for a long time, and their team is shit. So that automatically brings very much sympathy to Reiji Iwakiri. So hopefully what would be the worst would be if Ivo Kirikos starts the season as a free agent, because that's sort of fucked up. There's of course a lot of cap space across the league still, and the aforementioned
he doesn't have a bad build, I would say.
Aforementioned Vancouver Wolverines do sort of have that like sort of starting point guard spot open, but then also again with the juice of the SBA championship, the Shane Banks trophy now in Jeff's cabinet, I think he wants to be as min-maxing as possible for the time being, and having a offensive point guard in regression no less would
I mean, that much of an offensive point guard, he doesn't have any jump shot. Yeah, sure, he has some inside.
Sure, but some 82, isn't it, or whatever? 85,
yeah, 85
at this
inside.
point. Yeah. I mean, but then
of course, could be more min-max, but
yeah, I would respect it. But then again, I also respect the idea that you want to have just like a ball mover. So it's whatever. I just know for a fact that there's a opening in a lot of teams, including, I guess, well, not both of my teams anymore. But let's check out the last question. No, not that question. Well, actually, yeah, we can tackle that one quickly. Expectations for GOAT, Devanius, Galizzi, and the Battalion squad. The Battalion is a team we almost never talk about in depth because they're always going one way or not going anywhere, and the one way is usually down. But now that they've gone down, they've gone back up lately, and yeah, expectations. If I would set tempered expectations, I would say being well above 500, like comfortably, like 43, 44 wins. It's a good season, but then again, you have galizzi and Royal, so why not just make it into the playoffs and try the challenge in the first round? If you get lucky and you get a shitty team with some sort of guard offense, like, yes, Vancouver. But yeah, there's no beating Vancouver as proven previously. But wherever Theodore Walker goes, if you get that team in the first round, I guess. Or Rail, but Rail are not going to make the... Well, Rail could sort of, kind of, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, make it into the playoffs and hope for a win in the first round and build towards 84 or 85 and 86 is my expectations for the Battalion.
Yeah. I don't think they are going to be a winning team necessarily. Even though Royal is a pretty good player.
Royal is good. Omega is a good defensive cornerstone. Galizzi is gonna be like sort of like 1-2 with Royal. Like they sort of have alright situational play, and every position is sort of covered, but yeah, I just think other teams have more talent.
Yeah.
All right. What's your expectations? What are you aiming for in the upcoming season 84, Neptune?
I mean, for Lopez, the job is pretty clear. He has to make another all-defense first team because that's his whole gimmick at this point. I mean, he now got 8-for-8 so far, so hoping to make this at least 10-for-10, if not more. We'll see if that matters. And for Remus, I mean, and the Nightmare would be nice to make it back to the finals and maybe challenge for a chip. Maybe we get another Obonas matchup, which also would be funny. But yeah, let's see. It would be nice if he would start playing some fucking defense.
I don't think it would be funny. I think Chicago would just get fucked up, and it's yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to do that.
Are you at all interested in the? Because you're climbing up lately on the all-time steals leaderboards.
With Lopez?
Yeah, with Lopez. This season would put you past Zifa Dosbey and be in the top 20 already at this point. So like 2 more seasons with this production would put you in second place all time.
Yeah, I mean, I will continue him for a couple seasons as well because
Yeah.
that has been his whole player type. He doesn't need a lot of GPE to maintain his level. Yeah, maybe he will end up aiming for the first spot even. I think so far he has the highest steal per game average in SBA history, if I'm not mistaken.
With the
So
3.8 season?
yeah,
Or just like career average, you mean?
a career average, not 4 seasons.
Yeah,
Season
because
he missed
McCoy
out by
beat
like 4 steals a couple
McCoy
seasons
beat
back.
him once. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a lot, because McCoy only had 3.2.9, and you have 3.3.7 or 3.37 something. So that's actually very cool, because like I've had the same player and I averaged 2.5 over my career, so very fun.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
it
had a
wasn't the
95
same,
steal
yeah.
player who never averaged 3 dot anything.
Yeah, it wasn't the same because I was power forward as well. But usually the power forward designation is just more steals, more. So not sure about that one. And
But something along those lines, I believe. How
yeah.
about you? What are your expectations?
Psst,
Obviously going back to back, but
well, that's sort of an expectation. That's a lot of pressure to put on after what ever we talked about. I think it's a very unlucky season for Vancouver to win, but then be worse. And then you also won in a season you were sort of bad and not going for the title. So the next 3 seasons of, or is it 4 seasons? 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, 4. It's not going to be a very easy prime for my player. Maybe Kazumasa Ito will be sweet next season and be even sweeter the upcoming seasons, but it's not so easy to forecast the future now that we're lucky enough to win a championship but then become worse. Usually if you win a lucky championship you can get better, but now you win a lucky championship and get worse. So it's gonna be very interesting. I hope I could be better than Austin Evermore. The voters were gratuitous enough to pronounce that I was, even though I didn't agree. And I hope I could be better than Oliver Kincaid, which is more likely now that guy is in regression.
Regressing, so.
But yeah, I think for the longest time I wasn't ever interested in the SPDL, but this season I might check it out because I'm gonna have a number 1 overall prospect uncapping in the SPDL. So, because with the Los Angeles Rush, fuck that guy. Like, that career is finally going to be over. And the player is now bad. Like, in the past, Malone Freeman wasn't bad. In fact, 2 seasons ago, he was like the best role player in SBA history. Because I got very lucky through shooting all the way into the playoffs, where I was the second best offensive player after like Gravenberg, Caligula, and what's the other guy called? Dogwood. Weren't really good in the playoffs, but still, like, I think it's gonna be hopefully just like aiming for season 85. Unless we start the season with like 27 wins out of 35 or something like that for Vancouver. I have no belief in the high-end talent being high-end enough. Like, the current talent is maybe 5th best in the league. And if you're going to be 5th best in the league, you ought to be as lucky as we were last season to even make it to the finals, much less win in the finals. So, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I was also considering that I was going to do solo podcasts because I've been doing graphics for a while now after quitting my simming job, and I've just been picking players' names and putting a headshot or like a render to them without any real affiliation. Like for 2% milk, I just wanted to. 2% milk sounds nasty, and Tobias Harris is nasty. So I just made a signature for Retu without even asking him about Tobias Harris called 2% milk. So I've been thinking about maybe doing solo podcast, but then also it's very hard to come up with topics and ideas that people would want to listen, even though that's not the main point. That TP is the main point. So I don't know. Next season will be either the same as this season minus the championship, or it'll be completely different. There's also the third option that it's completely the same as last season, including the championship, but I don't think so.
I mean, it would be a legendary run to just basically repeat the same thing again.
Yeah, because that's gonna make my player also like sort of legendary. Because Big Rob used to be a meme.
Big Rob on day.
yeah, because now he's elevated from meme status to like finals MVP status in like the blink of an eye. I don't know why, but just so happened. And now my player, if we were to make it into the finals like another 2 seasons in a row now, that would like really raise my player's rep. And yeah, there's only one time previously I've been the best player on a finals team, and even that's debatable because Jeremy Beremy was basically as good. So who knows? Don't think it'll be much interesting, but I'll make sure to post in all caps if it is actually interesting. Do you think we covered enough for the time being? Nepto.
I mean, if you want to, we can still keep going a little bit.
No, it's.
I think we already covered quite a bit.
Yeah, because that's a preamble to me saying we've had enough, and we should, if we want to, we should return at another time where we have more prepared talking points rather than just like yabba. So
I mean, are we ever really having something different than just us yapping?
Maybe I don't share the notes with you anymore. Because for the drafts and whatever, there is no reason to make notes because you just present what's on the screen. It's like, the material is pre-made. But for the longest time, for the podcast, I did consider.
Yeah, I know you did notes at some point.
Yeah. So maybe I just didn't share them with you. And this, of course, with such a long break since the previous time, I just went like freeballing on a podcast. It feels sort of different, but it also like feels fairly normal. And there's always been good reception to these sorts of episodes. Maybe there's a little less robotastic here than the best episodes. But then again, this is this SBA Champion Edition. Well, fuck me. Robo is a former Finals MVP. Alright. Let's shut this shit down before I feel bad about my 6 years soon to be wasted in the SBA. So, yeah. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you Nepto for joining.
Thank you for the nice session.
I was gonna make a joke, but I'm not gonna. It's not very family friendly. I'm just gonna go find it and link it to Nepto later. If you want to hear more about this joke, just message me on Discord or the SBA forums. I'll maybe share the joke with you if I know you to be of majority age. Regardless,
so you just to figure out who has listened until the end,
What? Excuse me?
You just want to figure out who has listened until the end now with this.
I don't know if you.
I see right through you.
I don't know if you noticed, but in the past year, I've always been asking for comments and whatever. No one's ever responded to anything. Like none of it's ever resonated with anyone. So it's not like they've been pointed at me, especially with these tasks being, or the previous task being for TP. So they've just been like, whatever. They're gonna type their message that they already typed in Discord 2 days earlier, and you know how it goes. Anyways, If you listened until now, then goodbye.